We are looking at a New Year's health challenge. It could be a resolution. Hi, I'm Pam Schmidt, chemical minimalist. This health challenge that I'm looking at is more than just learning to lift weights and eat a little bit more carefully. I am encouraging you to look more specifically at getting rid of parasites in your body. What? Do I have them? When I came across this info that most Americans have parasites, I didn't want to think about it. I thought, no, this is disgusting. La, 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 la. I'm not going to listen to this. But over time, I started seeing the list of the symptoms and I started realizing, oh, I guess I have them. So then, knowing who I am, I'm always asking questions before I jump in. I want to know, I want to learn. And so I dive in and geek out on that. And I did come to the point where I was going, how was I exposed to parasites? And that's what I'm going to cover with you today. First of all, let me tell you what the CDC says, and I'll have to read it, and I'll read it in my fancy voice or my official voice. Here we go. The CDC says parasite exposure is happening by ingestion of contaminated food or water, by vector-borne transmission, or through person-to-person contact. So it's a lot of blah, blah, right? And it doesn't sound like something that would happen here in America. You would imagine it would happen with somebody living in a third world country in a little cardboard shanty, right? It's happening here. We are getting exposed to this. And it's very important that we recognize this because once we clean out the parasites from our body, we're going to risk more exposure. And I'm assuring you, we will get more exposure. So we have to avoid as much as possible. And then we come back and we treat again a few months later, which is what I'm doing here in January. So as we look at exposures to parasites, I'm going to be checking my list. So you're going to see me looking back and forth quite a bit. This list of exposures comes in my free ebook called Cleanse Parasites Basics. And I do want you to get it. And if there's information in the description below, you're going to use that to get that free ebook. This also is going to be a series of videos. So make sure wherever you're seeing this, that you're checking for the other videos, because sometimes hearing it and reading it means a different kind of learning. So exposures to parasites, that can come if we have a compromised immune system or we already have another illness, all right? Our body's not able to fight off these parasites. We can get exposure through living or traveling to very tropical or subtropical climates where there is a lot more prevalence of parasites just in the environment or in the water. We can get exposures through a lack of clean water supply, drinking water. So again, I think of travel, but it could even happen up in the mountains if you're drinking from a stream. And when you're swimming in freshwater lakes, rivers, ponds, where Giardia exists, then parasites can enter our bodies. If we're working in childcare or we work in soil regularly, where, animals are going to poop on soil, right? These are places where we would come in contact with parasites, and it's a greater chance of us taking it on. I am a retired kindergarten teacher. I got pinworms during my time working in the classroom, and my doctor said it's readily known that children have pinworms and they're easily transmitted to others if their little fingers and their fingernails are not cleaned well. They don't wipe well. And so guess what? I got it from touching their precious little hands. Yikes, huh? If we dive a little deeper in looking at our exposure to parasites, here are some other habits that we might put ourselves at risk in doing. If you have indoor pets, whether or not they sleep on your bed or whether or not they poop inside, we can risk exposure to parasites. I want to draw your attention to this point. When a woman is pregnant, she is given extreme warnings not to be the person that cleans out the kitty litter box because there's such an exposure risk to parasites. Other things, if we're walking barefoot outside on a surface, the dirt, the grass, parasites can be there. I have a dog. Well, maybe he pooped in that spot on the grass 2 weeks ago, and I don't see any poop, but I'm walking barefoot right over it. I'm risking exposure. I'm not going to stop walking barefoot. I use that as one of my grounding techniques. So that exposure is going to come back around regularly for me, and I need to be aware of that. If we're eating food that has parasites or parasite eggs, this could risk exposure, and that can show up in fresh produce, in meat, in fish, in candy, everything. Okay. Have you seen the clips on social media? Cutting open a little candy and there's something wiggling around in there, using the fork to pull away some salmon, and you see a little something wiggling. Yeah. I mean, I just consider it's everywhere. Other risks that we have: drinking impure water, swimming in a pool with infected people, even though they chlorinate it, we could risk that. Touching any surface that has been infected by a person that is infected, or they have unwashed hands and, they've previously, gone to the bathroom and wiped and the germs are on their hands and maybe they didn't wash well or they forgot to wash. Think of classroom, kids, all that. Bedding and clothing that is shared can risk infection. So family bed, or even if you just put your kid down and you lay with them for a little bit and they have pinworms, you can easily risk exposure. Blood transfusions, working in soil, and even toilet seats. That thing that they used to say, oh, be careful of the toilet seats. And then we were told, no, 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 there's no risk. There is a risk. So can you check off any of these exposure risks? I can. How many? How many exposure risks? So what I want to tell you is, as much as you want to freak out right now, you don't have to freak out. You really can relax, because I'm going to show you the way, and I want you to calm down, because really, truly, we can get this thing under control. All right. It's very possible. What I also want to tell you is, treating for parasites is not a one-time thing. It's not one and done. As much as I went through my recent parasite protocol, I know that since then I've been exposed again. Don't know exactly where or when, but I'm going to treat again, because this is a routine for health. Again, this video is re-emphasizing what I've got prepared for you in the 20-page ebook that's free. I want it in your hands, and it's called Cleanse Parasite Basics. So this video series will continue on, but again, when you hear it, it's one thing. When you read it, it's another. That's why I want the ebook in your hands. Now, in addition to that, I want to invite you to connect with me. You're going to see that in the link below, in the links below in the description, because I'm starting my own personal parasite protocol, and this is my next round of it, and I'd like to join with you in this. I think it's nice to have somebody hold your hand while you're in it and just kind of say, yeah, we're plodding through. Or even if you say, I'm kind of discouraged today, then you get that encouragement. Maybe I need your encouragement. I don't know. So please use the links below. I also have a deeper dive parasite protocol welcome kit. If you want to take the 6-week deep dive with me, that link is below too. Have a great day. Watch for the rest of the videos.